Alright everybody, last game is going to happen on Cursed Hollow. We have the draft starting and Roccat and G2 Esports already busy with the bans. And the bans, not so surprising. Roccat again with the ban on Abathur, or at least like the first ban is an Abathur here on Cursed Hollow. It's very similar to Infernal Shrines in the way that the map is being played oftentimes. We have Tyrande banned out as well. Or I should probably say like the way that the teams draft for this map. So Tyrande already being banned out for the burst damage and Abathur for the split soak experience and also the way that the Toxic Nest was here. Extremely fast, by the way, with the way that they're drafting right now. I like it. Roccat prioritizing Kel'Thas again, very, very highly in this case. Didn't really do the most damage for them in the last game, but they really want to play him here, and they do. And we have the counter on the side of G2 Esports with the Tyrael plus Uther. Uther for the flexibility later towards the draft with the Divine Shield for Sonya, for Melee Assassin, and Tyrael with the Sanctification. So they have a lot that they can use to really negate damage. Roccat is likely to think about a Muradin at this point. They can think about using a Muradin. There's a Falster to consider as well. They could also, of course, ban those heroes out if they don't want them, since we are going to start with the bans right after this one. There's an ETC that they should think about now too, and there we have him. ETC picked immediately, and the Muradin. So both of the heroes that I just mentioned picked right away. They disregarded, at least for now, the damage and said that their front line is more important to them, and that's a very solid front line as is. G2 Esports, of course, can now start to ban out even a bit more damage. They can think about what Roccat would take. First of all, they have to think about what they want to take next, since, of course, they have the next two picks here. But they could ban out any kind of, like, auto attack damage dealer, like a Falstad, like a Reyna, if they don't want to take these themselves. Atassadar is another hero that they could ban out, even if Roccat is thinking about going into, let's say, for example, a Brightwing again. Atassadar would still work quite well with this. But they actually get rid of Sonya. Now, that's an interesting touch, because I expected them to try and go for Sonya themselves if Roccat doesn't ban it out, since they have Uther and the Tyrael, so that's a very aggressive setup to jump into the backline. With Sonya banned out, Roccat could now think about a hero at the front line that they try to get rid of. They could, for example, say, hey, we ban out Johanna again. They already did it in the series before, so we could see that attempt again to do that. Arthas is another hero that at the front line for G2 Esports would be strong and that they used in games before. But of course, Johanna has that Condemn, which can be really nice in these scenarios. We also have the potential to go into Jaina for extra burst damage, and then having Condemn is absolutely amazing. Could even combo that off with the Ring of Frost. But since Falstad is so extremely strong right now, it's Falstad that they try to ban out here. And Falstad has, of course, a couple of other things that he can do on the map, not only the tribute fights, but also when we're going to talk about bosses, you can use that Mighty Gust. So Roccat, they want to have none of this, and they say, okay, Falstad is gone. So G2 Esports could still go into that Jaina. When we're talking about a potential second damage dealer, Arena is extremely strong. They showcased several games where they played with Triple Warrior, though. So they could attempt to go into something similar again. Keep that Arthas and that Johanna in mind. These are the heroes that we're most likely going to see for them at this point. But there's also that Tassadar. Jaina already at the start. With Jaina, you usually want to have a bit of a setup as well that really helps you to get the damage in with the Blizzard and everything else that you have. And right now, with the setup that they run here, they have a couple of options. I mean, Arthas would be another good frontliner, or Johanna. Those are probably the two that we're going to see either one of them. Not necessarily right now, but it's definitely a very good start either way. Howling Blast for lockdowns that Jaina can get the damage in. Condemn being used with the Blizzard. And of course, the Blessed Shield on Johanna also very strong. And as an additional damage dealer, if it's not the Tassadar, it's most likely going to be the Reyna. Has also great zoning thanks to the Hyperion. And it's a little bit likely that if they don't go for it, that Roccat is going to try to use that. So G2 Esports has to make a choice what they want to focus here on now. And, well, an auto-attack damage dealer would be likely, since Roccat is still missing one themselves. So they are probably going to try and lock one down. And if G2 Esports really want to have their pick here, they need to go for it at this point. The Jaina, on the other hand, is already very solid. That's really good and reliable damage that you get in here. And Tyrael and Uther have nice protection with the shields, with Sanctification and the Divine Shield. And G2 Esports is running down their time pool, like, pretty heavily. Apparently, they're a bit on the fence on which hero to take. Personally, I would still lean, they go for Tassadar. All right, that's a ton of protection that they have here. I was even leaning a bit towards a potential Reyna in this case, and I could see Roccat go for that. Of course, G2 Esports, they also like to go into their Sylvanas, which is another thing that we should probably mention here. Roccat, they need a healer. Brightwing is very likely on this map. Charism can be played. I'm tending a bit towards Brightwing here for them. And I personally think that Reyna would be very solid with the setup. They have pretty cool heroes that can already make sure that at the front line there's not going to be too much breaking through. They have to, of course, be a bit aware of Tyrael since he can jump in with Eldruin's Might. But Reyna, in this case, can do a lot. That Hyperion is extremely powerful, not only trying to burst structures down, but also zoning tributes, zoning bosses, and it can be used on all of these fights, and he can, of course, get a massive amount of damage out there. There's the Brightwing, as expected. Is it going to be Reyna, or are they going to rely on another damage dealer? There are a few more options out there. Vala is something that they've played in the past. We more so see Vala on Infernal Shrines, but it can also be played on this map. And yeah. There's a couple of other options that they have now too. I mean, we've been talking about G2 Esports really liking their Sylvanas. Roccat could attempt to pick her away and try to gain some momentum and use that Wailing Arrow for themselves. Reyna, I feel, would still be very, very cool in terms of like single target damage and also zoning. And it is Reyna, and I like this choice. And that's the one thing where I thought that G2 Esports might try to pick that. So for G2 Esports, this is a bit of one of those moments where you really have to decide what you want to do. Do you really play a Tyrael solo? It's a bit unlikely, and if you want to go into a second frontliner, then Johanna and Arthur are still your best options in my personal opinion. But they have a Tassadar plus an Uther and a Tyrael with shield, so they could play Tyrael solo and could go for extra damage or utility with the heroes that I mentioned already a bit earlier. So it would be a risky play though. It would be quite a commitment, and they go for and Nova. Now, I'm not 100% certain if that was now a draft tool delay and then a Nova that got put in. Nova is a lot stronger with the new scaling. Don't get me wrong. We could see her, but we haven't seen her in months in competitive play. So either that was an auto pick or G2 Esports is playing this with a Nova against Brightwing, who's going to take Peekaboo. So, well, I suppose we're going to find out any second now, jumping into the game, if it's really a Nova pick or if it was a mistake in the draft and Nova just represents another hero here. I personally would love a Nova, don't get me wrong. I mean, that would be amazing, but that would be a massive risk by G2 Esports. Can't wait to find out, so let's just jump straight into the game. I would be very happy about a Nova, but that could be a draft bug. Nova is stronger now. The scaling helps her, but I'm very, very curious. I'm not gonna lie. So, soccer hosts. Okay, let me see. I don't have an answer yet. Just need the overlay as we speak. Against it, the only thing that really like gets me is Peekaboo. I mean, Peekaboo against a Nova would be like, what? Okay. Okay, they tell me it's a Nova. The thing is, I can't see her in the pick screen since the one hero that probably picked her is in the middle, so I can't see it. I believe him. I put Nova into the Twitch description. Nova, Nova, Nova. Against Peekaboo, that's commitment. That is commitment. Best pick in Africa. I think he's trolling. But I can't confirm that's the problem because I don't see it. I only see the other 4 heroes, but not Nova. We were gonna find out in the draft, like when the game loads up. We're gonna find out once that it's refreshing. Oh, it has been started. Let me actually see. We're waiting for one player. Who is it? It's actually the supposed Nova player. But yeah, nobody else has said anything, so neither the admins nor the players have said anything else. I would be so happy if that was Nova. That would be so good. Gathering power got changed a lot in the last patch, so that's actually like really strong. Okay guys, game starts. We're gonna find out now in the screen if it's really a Nova or not. Yes, it is! Yes! Sick! Count me in. Nova time. Sick games, sick games. We're going to see a Nova, boys. Woo! Game on! And on our third map, we have a special treat. We have a Nova in play. For real, not a misclick. It is a Nova. To the left side of the map, we are seeing now Roccat. They run it with Soccer on Muradin. We have Redex on Reyna. He's going to be one of the priority targets of Nova. And of course, Hazelops on Kelthas. Paquete on Brightwing. He's going to be the bane of Nova's existence with the Peekaboo on level 4. And we have Sport Billy on ETC. To the right side of the map, currently there's Nika playing Tassadar for G2 Esports. We have Shihu on Tyrael, Bashek on Jaina, Leo from Korea on Uther, and Juve is playing Nova. And this is going to be a lot of fun. Now, Nova, of course, is one of the heroes that benefited quite a bit from the scaling changes in the recent patch, so she can be quite good. Keep also that gathering power in mind. That is an option for her to take since it's now extremely powerful. You lose all of the stacks upon dying, but if you can keep yourself alive, you have a potential plus 30% damage, which is insane. So right now, they're going for a massive, massive burst combo that we are seeing here. We could even see Judgment on the side of Shihu, since we have seen in the past Precision Strike plus Judgment, and then even the Hinterland Blast on Falstad, which in this case we don't have as an option, but that's something that they could try and do. So this is going to be super, super fun. We already have everybody roaming up to the top. Juve wants to go for the snipe, puts that in. And yes, Paquete is eating a fair amount of damage. But there's the stun immediately from ETC. Juve is low. Nova gets gravity lapsed and taken down. Redex gets the shots in, and Nova the first victim in the game. Talent-wise, we have a very interesting setup as well, by the way. We are seeing on level 1 now the Winter's Reach with the increased range of the Frostbolt, and we are also having Give Me More. That's definitely an adjustment to seeing the Nova in play, because, well, if you know that she is there with the burst damage, you want to have some extra heals on Reyna. And that in general is going to become a very fun game now, because, well, Nova is going to try to sneak in from behind, dodge the Peekaboo somehow, and then get the damage in. So besides that, we have a lot of talents that rely heavily on the Regeneration Globes, a double Conjurer's Pursuit, and also in the case of the Regeneration Master here. Oh, there's the burst damage. Paquete goes down. Bashek, look at that burst. Juve is making plays now. Nova moving straight in. But I'm really curious to see how he's going to fare on his hero once that we have level 4 and Peekaboo for Brightwing. That's, of course, going to be one of the massive things here. Nova already getting the damage in against Sport Billy, and every single time they move in against the hero, they just like burst him down a bit so that they have a bit of additional, just like leeway here. And the gathering power as expected. I'm loving it. So hero takedowns increase your ability power, and it's up to 30%. So it's a massive damage increase, but you lose all of it once you're dying. And that's, of course, one of the things that is just... that it just is basically you have to play passive, and it's one of the things that also help her now with not only Divine Shield and Uther, but also at the same time it's that Tassadar that can shield you and make sure that you don't lose your gathering power stacks, because those are going to be super important. So for now, we are actually seeing the double power slide talents for ETC. Peekaboo, surprise, surprise, has been the talent on Brightwing. I mean, what else if you're going up against a stealth hero? Already, Sport Billy getting bursted here, but he moves away and is probably going to escape. I don't think so. Brightwing, bro, oh my god, they nearly keep him alive, but he dies, and now Brightwing is in a really shitty spot too. Double kill for G2 Esports. They commit to a Nova play, and so far it's working out. And keep also in mind that this is, of course, already 2 additional gathering power stacks for Nova. So at this point, we're seeing her on 4% extra damage. It's not a whole lot just yet, but believe me, that adds up over time. Arcane Intellect on level 4 taken for Jaina. We are seeing the Healing Ward and Amplified Healing for the more like tanky Shihu build here, the Tyrael build, since he is the only tank in the game for his team. He needs to make that happen, but of course they have a lot of support. His own shield, the Shield of Tassadar, and then also Uther with the Divine Shields. As Ops eating a fair amount of damage here against the roaming comp, but moves back in time. And you can really tell that Roccat is starting to show this build quite a bit of respect. They're saying like, yeah, at least at the early game, we need to make sure that they don't move in and take us down. Also, a level 7 adjustment. 1 in the chamber is now being used, alright. So they have, of course, been the anti-armor shells in the past, which was the main focus of the entire build. You were trying to get the damage in like this, but now it's the one in the chamber, so that's going to be pretty cool. And already, tribute number 2 claimed by G2 Esports. It's the final map that we have between the two teams, and this is going to be a mess. I mean, this is amazing. They risk something here with this build. It's of course something where they just say, okay, we're going to surprise our opponent with it, but that can backfire quite heavily. Fight or flight, the level 7 talent on the side of Reyna, so that is also of course going to help him. The Adrenaline Rush can now be manually activated. That helps him to get away in certain situations. We're seeing the phase shield, and Right Wing is going to have to make sure that they get that phase shield in against heroes that are targeted by Nova. But that burst damage is going to be absolutely crazy. And let's not forget that Bashik also adjusted his own build on Jaina with that level 1 talent Winter's Reach, with the increased range and the cooldown reduction on level 7 thanks to the Ice Lance. So the entire setup of the team has been changed a bit, and a lot of it hinges on Nova's damage. And again, she's moving in, Brightwing the target. Oh, but good job by DreadX, moving them away. So the whole idea is really slow a target with Jaina, drop the Blizzard, and Nova is just like sitting there shooting everything in that she can. The snipe, going for the extra damage, then also of course thanks to the level 7 talent, her personal follow-through variation, the one in the chamber talent. And they accept the curse. They just say, guys, pre-level 10, we can't do anything here. Let's just accept the curse for now, defend as much as we can, and then take it from level 10 onwards when we have our heroic abilities and are in a position where we can finally do some damage. And this is where we are going to see some very interesting choices as well. Because what is Nova going to go for? Are we going to see Judgment for Tyrael to combo maybe a precision strike off? Or are they simply just going for their Sanctification after all? Here's already the precision strike. Here's the Divine Shield, Water Elemental, all as expected. Tyrael, is it going to be the Judgment? Is it going to be the Wombo combo? Oh, Juve, first of all, with a kill against Brightwing in the back. It is Judgment, I'm loving it. This is going to be so good. Judgment into Precision Strike was one of the old school comps, ladies and gentlemen. That was played in the alpha. That was played a year ago. Falstad, Nova, and Tyrael, they were a team, and you would just try and burst the target down on the map with a Judgment and then Hinterland Blast. Back then it was still called Shock and Awe, plus the Precision Strike, and they are going into something similar, and I'm loving every second of this. But Roccat is not going to be easily impressed. They are going to try and force this back, especially now that they have their Mosh Pit, that they have their Phoenix, that they have all these abilities, and even Reyna's Raiders now. Usually on this map, we mostly see Hyperion. Not that Reyna's Raiders are bad, but oftentimes you try to zone, when you go for a boss, you try to zone at the Tribute, and this is not happening right now. But take a look at these takedowns. So for now, we have actually like the deaths first. 3 on Brightwing at this point. Shihu is still moving around. Kelthas has been taken out. Precision Strike and the drop. The boss is stolen or is taken by G2 Esports. They go for Red X. They snipe him too. It's another double kill. 6 kills already. That's so much damage on Juve at this point. Really great plays here. I'm loving it. And they go straight down to the bot lane. They're trying to take it. Look at the deaths and the assists at this point. Nova is currently on 3 kills and 3 assists. She has 12 extra damage thanks to Gathering Power. 6 in total, 6 takedowns where she participated, and this is going to be pretty epic. Nova is getting the damage in and she is stacking it, and the longer this continues, the worse the situation for Roccat is going to get. The boss is moving down at the bot lane. They already had a curse against them, and right now they have to defend their own keep. Level 13 talents put now the lethal decoy into the hands of Nova. Shrink Ray has been chosen here. Icy Veins, the opposing will, and I mean Icy Veins with already the reduction on the Ice Lance. The cooldown reduction is incredible. Gran Paquete is just blinking away. He's impressed, I can tell you that much, because that Nova is really hunting him down. Talking about hunting, in the mid lane they hunt ETC, but Brightwing is ready. Brightwing moved in with a phase shield and helped out ETC, saved him for now. So Judgment was used for this. They sacrificed the cooldown and didn't get a kill out of it. We have 1 kill against 6 in the game. Just to give you a bit of an idea here, damage-wise, we have Nova currently at 13,000, and she takes the most damage dished out in the game. She is a bit ahead of Jaina, who's at 11,000 right now, and the team is still rotating around. They're going for the fort, and they will get it. They have a solid lead in experience as well. They already took down the third fort now, so all of the structures in the middle of the map are eliminated. And we are seeing up to the top another tribute spawning, and let's see if... There's no way Roccat engages here. Not without the level 13 talent. They need that talent, and they need it soon. And this is just getting incredibly difficult for them. So we have at this point in the mid lane Hazops, Radix and Sportbilly, and they are just like thinking, how do we take her down? If they kill Nova, that's all that they have to do once. Then she's going to lose all of that extra damage that she currently has. And Brightwing with that peekaboo is going to be so crucial. Yuba is doing an incredible good job staying away from it, by the way. So he's making sure that he is always outside the sight of Brightwing. But here comes now the move up to the top lane. 13 talents are ready for Team Roccat. They're going for Tyrael, and they find him alone on the map and kill him easily. Now we're having Spell Shield used for ETC. Can you blame him against the Nova? Of course he's going to go Spell Shield. And he's starting to jump in again, but immediately isolated. ETC, mistakes were made. Great force wall that we saw there, and they have to move away. It's still a 4 versus 5 though, but that experience lead that we're seeing for Team G2 Esports is just insane right now. They're nearly 2 levels ahead at this point, thanks to all the structures that they eliminated. We have Relentless Leader now also taken, which is of course also pretty cool. I mean, all these talents that we are seeing on so many of these heroes are really catering against slow, against burst. Once again, the attempt right here. ETC, the 3-man mosh pit! Oh my god, it's the mosh pit of doom! And Nova is dead. All those gathering power stacks are lost. Divine Shield, they fought without Tyrael, and Sportbilly with a perfect mosh pit. They go for Barshek, and they're gonna get that kill against Jaina as well. It's a double kill, and oh my god, was that good. That mosh pit was one, I mean, that was one for the ages. He hit every single hero that he had to hit. The only hero that is not hit is Jaina, and she's just standing there watching the disaster unfold in front of her, and she's like, boys, I would, but I don't have a stun. There's nothing I can do here. Everybody else is like screaming in pain as they're getting taken out by Red X with his right-click attacks, going for the auto attacks and the Reyna's Raiders. And of course the rest of the team is helping out as much as they can too. 15 versus 15 all of a sudden. 6 kills against 4. This game is awesome. Give me a little bit more. Let's hope that it really takes a long time because I'm having fun. Top lane, ETC is soaking experience, and Nova, she is angry right now. My girl is mad. She is just basically saying, dude, I had 12 gathering power stacks. Well, she didn't. She had 6 and 12 extra damage, but she wants more than that. Brightwing with a tactical pause at this point. But boy, these builds. I mean, level 16 now, we have the crippling shot already taken for Nova. Just going through a build again because we don't see her too often. We have the ambush snipe on level 1, so that's the standard talent still to take. Gathering power has been buffed in the recent patch in case that you didn't know that, so she is very powerful with it. If she can stay alive, that's of course the most important part, and right now Juve died once. 1 in the chamber on level 7, and we have Precision Strike, which combos so well with the Judgment. Then also Lethal Decoy, and now the Crippling Shot. And of course you try to combo those heroic abilities as much as you can. Benediction is going to help a bit more. We have Dimensional Warp most likely on level 16 for Tacita, who is going to capitalize on that, and with his Prescience as well. And the interesting part is that Jaina didn't really go into Ice Block, so she went for Icy Veins, and considering the build that we see here with the Winter's Reach and also the Ice Lance taken, it's a massive cooldown reduction that you get a lot of your spells, and you can just like basically hammer out these Ice Lancers like a machine gun. We have now Northern Exposure. That's extra damage that you take even on top of this, and it is going to be absolutely incredible if Nova gets her shots in. But at the same time, Jaina is more vulnerable now. That's a problem, and that's something that we're going to see later. We have, for both of the teams, 1 tribute taken. Talking about damage once again, we see 15,000 on Nova, but already 19,000 on Jaina, who is starting to really take the lead there. And let's not forget about Reyna. Even though he went for a passive build and did not go into Seasoned Marksman or any of these talents, we have him now also with 15,000 damage. At the top lane, they go for, again, Tyrael, and no way that he escapes from this one. Tyrael gets isolated and taken down again, and now G2 Esports, they have to move away here. They have to give this one up. I do not believe that they go in for it. They can't. They really can't. I mean, we have level 16 now with Stone Form, we have Bullseye, there's the Greater Polymorph, the Arcane Barrier, and already a boss attack. And this one, I mean, what are you going to do about it? The only thing that G2 Esports can do is they try to go to the bot lane and snipe this one. And they should be able to get it in time. Nova is actually a bit late to help out here, so it's going to take a bit longer than expected, but they should still be able to get it. Even the precision strike is committed. It's a minute cooldown, 60 seconds, so it's still all good here. Didn't necessarily have to do it, I suppose, but they were a bit afraid that they would be ambushed by their opponents, so they just started to move away. And, well, actually a well-founded fear, since now they are getting jumped here. Nice Stormball dodge that we see by Tassadar. Nika moves away. That was an important one. Without the precision strike, they would have been even like later on the boss, and then they are, and would have most likely died there. So that was a very nice decision that we saw on the side of Juve to go for their ability. And he has only 20 seconds left on that cooldown, so it's not like it's not going to be up for the next fight. It could actually end in a keep. It will end in a keep. There's no way they burst that boss down in time, is there? Actually, if they commit everything, they might have a chance. Those two Siege Giants in the back, by the way, not attacking the keep. And they actually save it. The Siege Giants, dude, you had one job, seriously. And they go for minions. Wow. Hate must be real right now on the side of G2 Esports. I mean, once again, we have Grandpa Kette channeling the tribute, and this is the curse that we are seeing now against G2 Esports. So, first curse against them. We saw one a bit earlier against, against Roccat. But right now, the tides have turned, and we have level 18, or close enough, for Roccat and 17 for G2 Esports, and that Nova did not get any additional assists. Also, they are in a position where she can't really do anything. Like, she has still solid damage, but the gathering power doesn't really help her, since she is not able to get any stacks up. Juve died once, and that cost him 12% extra damage. It's an incredible cool talent, but you have to stay alive somehow, and we all know how easy it is in Heroes of the Storm to die once that you got found out by your opponent. The pressure play by Roccat. The curse is there, and they move in. Soccer ate a lot of damage already. Nice move with the Force Wall. Also, of course, you can combo the Force Wall and the Holy Ground right now to cut heroes off even more, and that's what they're currently trying to do. Top lane, Nika is shielding the structures as much as he can because they are losing hit points on one of their keeps. But at the bot lane, we're still seeing Roccat pushing in. They're not an entire level ahead, but close enough. And the curse is over, with the mid lane now being pressured back, and that's the remainders of the Bruiser camp that has been taken a bit earlier by Team Roccat. They're still good. They still don't have... They haven't lost a keep yet. And we haven't seen Roccat lose a keep yet either. Well, actually, no, we did. It died after all at the bot lane. They moved away, and it looks like the waves moved in and took it down. So one keep eliminated, and that puts G2 Esports in a slightly better position on the map itself. But of course they need to get their kills in, and that's just not going to be easy. But they are starting to get the experience again. They are nearly level 19, so they're very close to the point where we're having G2 Esports when it comes to the level. But we have Nika now in the mid lane, and he's currently, of course, trying to do exactly that. Soak a bit of additional experience and get into position here. Juve is moving on the map, and he's just like double-checking boss. He's double-checking while boss is on cooldown. He's double-checking the top lane. Lane Nova confirmed, probably not quite, but it's really important that he's not going to die. He can't be found out right now. It's one of those risky things. If you are as Nova alone on the map and suddenly your opponent gets a whiff of where you are, reveals you and takes you down, at this point in the game you are down for 65 seconds and it's just way too much. So you have to be super, super careful. And we just see him standing there. Standing there and waiting for Grandpa Kette, already dodging that damage. Juve, he's thinking about going in. Everybody else, by the way, rotates over too. They want to get that snipe, and Roccat is down here at the bot lane, but Grandpa Kette already realized that something's going on. Did you see that snipe in the storm? They were hoping that he was still in the bush, but Grandpa Kette was just like saying, yeah, screw that. I'm going to move back right now because they are going to take me down. So we have, for now, the level 20s in play. A little bit faster, though, for Roccat. G2 Esports, let's see how they are going to play at this point. We currently have already Shihu in play. And up to the top lane, yep, there they are now as well. So it's going to be another keep that they can attack. Talking about keeps, by the way, like, actually, one of the things that they could have used, they probably used Precision Strike to just snipe the keep at the bot lane. It was low enough for that to work. And with the cooldown that we had there, they had to play passive anyway, so they most likely just simply use the Precision Strike to snipe it down and not the waves, because Roccat was actually like pretty careful pushing that wave back and taking also those Siege Giants down. So yeah, that makes a lot more sense now thinking about it. Level 20 is going to be ready in just a few seconds for G2 Esports as well. And there it is. Arcane power even used, wow. And the Bolt of the Storm for Nova. I like that choice a lot. Since you are trying to stay alive as long as possible and therefore you will need an escape, we have now the Bolt of the Storm used that will help her to get those or to keep the gathering power stacks. Right now she doesn't have any, but later on in the game these are going to become incredibly powerful. So we see Force Barrier now used with the increased range and also duration increase for Dassiter. And we have, again, the Hardened Shield being used here at the same time. So once again, Hazorb, Sport Billy, and Red X are just like waiting for a chance. Oh, they actually commit to a boss. And we have Nova moving in down to the bot lane. She knows where Grand Paquette is, but Grand Paquette will jump into the fight if he has a chance. Nova is just waiting where she is right now. Up to the top lane, we're seeing at the same time another wave pushing in, but the towers are still there with full ammunition. Here comes the attack. Nova is starting to move in against Brightwing. Is trying to get some damage in, and here's the snipe. Brightwing blink heals away, and Nova has to move back. Great move here by Grand Paquette, and a very cool attempt by Juve to go for it. So right now we are seeing Leo, Shihu, and also the rest of the team. Oh, the mosh pit nearly caught her. The mosh pit nearly caught Juve, and he's moving away right now. Juve on the way back. Zocke etc. They still chase Nova. They can't get the kill in. And yep, there we have right now the move by Zocke and Sport Billy attempting to chase her down. And Nova is still on the run. The Reyna's Raiders are putting so much pressure on her. Great zoning effort, but the kill down here against Tyrael, even a bit more important. And Reyna's Raiders in this game were really a good choice. Hyperion is most often the important talent to take, but as you can see here, the Reyna's Raiders are actually like zoning Juve pretty well. Once you get them on target, Juve has to run. He can't really do a whole lot. He needs to get his cooldowns out first though, then he's still fine, but this is still a pretty cool situation for them. And again, the precision strike. 60-second cooldown, no big problem. You burst the target down, and that's what they're doing here. So yep, there we have them. We have Juve, Bashek, Leo, and Nika going for the boss already, and the rotation towards the tribute, but which would actually curse Team Roccat. And Roccat seems like they are trying to backdoor the keep, and that should work. We have the curse against them, but still, as long as they are here at the bot lane, it looks though as we might see another backdoor attempt on the side of G2 Esports. They go through the wall, and now Roccat, it's going to be a base race. The boss is moving in at the bot lane, and this is going to be a base race. I'm not quite sure if Roccat can really win this one. There's so much damage, 15 seconds until we see another precision strike. Roccat is too slow. They're just simply too slow with this one, or are they? Who's going to take it? 64. Oh, Roccat could actually take this. No, 20% on the core of Roccat. Who's going to win it? It is going to be G2 Esports that loses the game. They are a bit too slow, and Roccat victorious with a 2-1 victory here at the Heroes Battle Arena. What a match! What a game! Great game. That was amazing. That was really good. That last move in, trying to burst it down, and with the boss they are actually able to take it. I really thought for sure that Roccat would lose the race. 5% on the core, and then their own explodes. They were a bit faster in, they committed everything that they had to it, and with the curse, Roccat still moved through, went for it, and with the cooldowns and everything, they were able to take it. Great play here on the side of Roccat and G2 Esports. I really like the Nova commitment. It didn't work out for them. They had some really cool plays. I mean, they sniped the keep at the bot lane. They got a lot of kills early on, especially thanks to the snipes. After she died, though, and lost the gathering power stacks, she was never really able to burst a target down efficiently. She went for that cool snipe against Brightwing, which didn't really work out, though. Brightwing just jumping away there. But it was still a very ballsy play, and it was one that nearly worked out. So great play here on the side of G2 Esports. But the victor at the end of the day is still Team Roccat. Extremely well played by them. Of course, a well-deserved victory with a 2-1 win here at the Heroes Battle Arena.